Good evening and welcome to our Sports Science Virtual Open event. And this is the last of our specialist virtual events, and one in which I'll have the pleasure of talking about what our sports science offer is at UTC Olympic Legacy Park. My name's Jessica Stevenson. I am principal here and I'm joined tonight by Liz Wallace, who's a member of our Zero marketing team, who's helping with the running of the event, by Abby Olsen, who is my lead teacher for sport, and Kieran Loftus, who's my vice principal, who'll be asking some of the questions at the end. Tonight, we're going to specifically be discussing our sport offer and our physical education offer. If you want more general information about the UTC, we ran a previous virtual event, which is available on our website to watch. I've been principal here since January, and it's been an interesting year to start, but it is a real privilege. Our students and my staff every day make me proud, and it's a really, really exciting institution with a fantastic curriculum offer that a UTC allows us to do. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay, so this is the agenda for tonight. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what a UTC are, talk to you about our specialisms and our curriculum offer, and then you're going to get, most importantly, to learn a bit more about our staff and to hear from our students, past and present, as well as some of our employer links. And then at the end, there's an opportunity to ask questions. Now, if you think of questions while I'm talking or while any of the videos are on, there is a questions facility at the bottom of your screen. If you just type any questions into there, they will get answered by either they'll be answered directly there if there's something simple and everybody will be able to see the answers, or they might be held on to be answered live at the end if we think it's something that will be of interest to lots of people, or that, you know, there's a longer answer to. So please don't hold all your questions in till the Q&A at the end. If you think of them, just put them in that little box at the bottom. Okay, next slide. So what is a UTC? UTCs exist to specialise. We are here to form the pipeline into industry, and there are 49, I believe, across the country and 2 in Sheffield. We are about the skills for the future. There's a digital revolution coming, and we know that employers very much feel that when students leave education, that they don't have those specific skills or knowledge that actually deliver them to employment. But we are fundamentally here to support our local area. So for us, that's Sheffield and South Yorkshire. What are those employment needs? What are the exciting careers and opportunities that are happening there? And that's how we're making sure we're tailoring our offer in order to facilitate that. Can I have the next slide? Okay, so, whoops. UTCs are more than just a school, as well as providing a strong grounding in the core of English, maths and science, for which OLP has a really strong department in all areas with really solid teaching and strong outcomes. We have each UTC has more than one technical specialism linked to local industry partners. The curriculum provides a blend of academic and technical learning with a balance appropriate to each key stage and level. Our curriculum is designed in conjunction with employers to ensure that students leave with the skills they need, and also to put them ahead of the game in the employment market and for university out there. Programmes of study demonstrate high academic and technical ambition for pupils, building on vital employability skills. Personal values and professional behaviours required by UTC leavers for rapid progression into the target technical sector. UTCs invest in young people's enthusiasm and aptitude for science, maths and technology, and in doing so accelerate their progress to a career in a technical field. In turn, this progression feeds the talent pipelines into the UTC's target technical sectors. So really, what the privilege about being a principal at a UTC is that we look at students' raw interest and talent and desire to work in a field, and we channel that towards the needs and specialisms of different employers. So in our UTC, if we click to the next slide, I realise there's a couple of little bits before, but in our UTC at OLP, we've got 3 specialisms, and they are health science and social care, a sports science, and computing and IT. Now, all of our students from year 9 right through to post 16 will have an area study that fits into one of those 3. Although there are some really exciting joint working and kind of hinterland careers that sit between them. So for example, there's obvious overlap between sport and health and social care and health, with all of those careers around health and well-being and preventative work, which is really complemented with the park we're on the Olympic Legacy Park, where we've got EIS, we've got the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, all around fitness, health and well-being. But there are also really exciting careers that sit between sports science and computing, for example, where they're looking at high-end development of sports equipment or modelling around fitness and mobility. Can I have the next slide, please? So, a little bit about our curriculum. In year 9, we set out to have a kind of grounding curriculum. Now, where we're liberated as a school is we are not set into the EBAC, which most schools are. So we are able to tailor our curriculum to really make sure it matches what students and the employers need. All students in year 9s to 11s do English, maths and science. All our students do triple science, and then in year 11 we make the decision about how to tailor that, what's the best for that student, what gives them the best outcomes for post 16. And then then if they're coming in as a sports specialist, they will start with the Gateway Level 2 skills in sport and active leisure. And the very grounding they get in that year 9 is about exploring careers pathways, because lots of students in year 9 don't actually understand the diversity of careers out there. I'm still learning about the diversity of careers that are possible within sport, and I think we'll continue to, because they're diversifying and they are really, really broad. Then they look at development of a personal fitness planning, and they look at planning and participating in outdoor activities. They move on from that point onto the OCR Cambridge Level 2 in sports science. They also have the additional option to look at the OCR Cambridge Level 2 in sports studies. So what we've got is quite a broad sports offer that looks at the range across the curriculum around sport. Alongside that, students can choose an option. They can choose to do computer science, psychology, economics, or geography. So they can look at a blended offer between the subjects, and some of them leading them to those kind of exciting careers that I talked about before, where you've got a mixture of different specialisms that are there. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay, so at post 16, all of our students do the Cambridge Technical, but they can choose how large that route is. So you would do the Cambridge Technical in sport, but it might be you want to have a larger A-level offer. So you may want to do the A-level PE, or perhaps the applied science, or A-levels in biology or chemistry. In fact, we do offer some complementary ones with our sister site at City Centre. So if somebody wanted to do, in fact, we've got students who've looked in the past at doing kind of sport and art because they want to go into design elements, and that's an option. So we've actually got a real excited blended offer that we can do because of the way our timetables align, in that we can look at our students going and doing some of the city centre options. Some students do all of their time on that technical sport and maybe only look at doing one A-level or the applied science, and what we really do is tailor that with really good careers advice. We're starting in post 16 saying, where do you want to be, what do you want to do, and what is the best package of subjects to do that. If it's Russell Group universities, you'd probably be looking at the smaller technical pathway with a larger A-level offer, so you've got that real academic underpinning. But what this technical offer gives you is that links with employers, that real grounding and those really transferable skills that set you ahead from other students who haven't had that. It may be that you want to go into a career where the extended diploma gives you that access to university alongside the applied science. But what we're really keen on is having those discussions pre-application and as you're applying at post 16 about what is it you want and how can we tailor our offer in order to make sure that you get onto that the destinations are where they need to be. And certainly the way we structure our post 16 allows for flexibility in that the technical offers in all our subjects are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then the A-levels are offered on the Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, so you've probably heard enough of me talking through all of this. I'm going to show you a short film now, which will give you a bit more of an overview of what sport is. I'd love to be able to show you around our building and really give you a tour. And as soon as I can, they will go. The tours will be in place. But until that point, I'm going to show you a video. I'm hoping that there we are. We're going to show you the video of so you can get an appreciation of what it's like.
I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to choose to do sport at UTC. The way the curriculum's teed up, it's going to cover every topic that you could potentially want to move into as a future destination or career.
I chose to come to the UTC because it gave me so many more opportunities than my old school did. Like my sports specialism that I did now was never going to be an option in my old school, and I wanted to pursue a career in sport, so it was a good opportunity for me.
I chose UTC because I really like sports and I really enjoy it. When I leave, I'm hoping to be an athlete for Team GB, so that's my hopes.
The sports specialism starts in Year 9 with the Level 2 qualification in sport and active leisure. And for that, it covers 4 key things, so outdoor adventurous activities, a career planning, which underpins their whole journey throughout the UTC, personal fitness, and then also planning an event. The Cambridge National qualification is in sports science, and it's made up of 4 units again, 1 exam looking at sports injuries, so if pupils are interested in going in physiotherapy, sports medicine, it gives them an insight. Also we cover nutrition, principles of training, so if they're thinking about personal training or working with an athlete closely, and then there's also the responses to exercise, which is more scientific based, looking at the different body systems and how it responds to exercise. So the employer links are embedded into the curriculum, so we're looking at enhancing their pupil experience, whether it's the employer helping with delivering the course content or whether it's in a project that's set up for the pupil to expand their understanding of what they're being taught. That's what it's there for. So in sport we work with a range of different industries, be it national governing bodies like Go Ball UK, the FA and England Netball, whether it's looking at research and technology like the AWRC building in Sheffield Hallam, whether it's elite sport like the Sheffield Sharks or Sheffield Eagles. It's wide ranging and filtered in to cater for every topic that we deliver in the curriculum.
So what I'd say to someone applying to the UTC to do sport is 100% go for it. I think it's opened up my eyes to so many different career choices within sport, and it's just been such a great experience.
Sorry, I've my screen changed then. Here we are. So that gave you a little flavour of what the building's like. We've got a small virtual tour that I did in place of an actual tour of the building if you want to see more. And like I said, keep an eye on our social media, keep an eye on our website. As soon as I can get people into my building and show you our fantastic facilities, I will do. In what I'm really privileged to be able to work with expert teachers in my school, and no more so than in my sports department. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a little sense of my sport team working here at OLP.
Studying sport and sports science here at UTC is different to other schools because of our employer links. We link each topic to real world situations. So in terms of delivering your sports leaders sessions, they're not done to your peers, they are done to external agencies, primary schools, links with the EIS, links with CIV and other employers that we work with.
16 curriculum can be broken down into 3 separate A-levels. We offer the extended certificate, the diploma and then the extended diploma, which is worth 3 A-level equivalent. At each one they have slightly different units and they all overlap, but it covers a broad range of different topics from anatomy and physiology, biomechanics, sports coaching, nutrition and applying to specific groups. So it covers a broad range of different areas that will assist you in entering different...
We liaise with the English Institute of Sport. Our staff are really well qualified and come from lots of different backgrounds in sport. For example, we have staff who've knowledge of sport development. We have staff who've been in a professional sporting environment. and we also have staff who've been down the traditional PE route.
Currently in Year 9, sports students are going through a gateway qualification in sports skills. They've started off with career planning in sport, so they've got to investigate and outline the many different career options in sport, which is a great stepping stone to then go on to further studies, enabling them to sort of put employment and careers as a bedrock of their practice. So at the minute, a whole handful of students have been able to identify different careers in sport. So they're able to put their careers they've investigated and learnt about in the previous module into the module they're studying now in developing personal fitness. So the role of a personal trainer or gym instructor and how that can help them improve their personal fitness.
So currently in Year 11, my sports studies group are working on a leadership unit focusing on exercise to music. So their project is collating research on what kinds of exercise people like to do, what kind of music they like to listen to when they exercise, and then they're using this information to put together an exercise to music session for one of our employers.
Plans for the future, post-COVID, we've got employers as educators, which will feed into both the gateway and the sports studies qualification when we're looking at entering sports industries. So they will give their account of how they entered the industry, their career progressions, and then how that will feed in for our pupils and their coursework. We've also got, as part of the post-16 qualification, we're working closely with AW's RC startup company called Golfing Society, and that will feed into a number of different units, looking at how the business is set up, how it targets its population, and how the sessions are run.
Facilities at UTC are second to none. We have an up-to-date fitness suite, which has got high-tech equipment, for example, watt bikes, rowing machines. We also have a sports hall and movement studio, in addition to our sports science lab.
We have lots of different enrichment opportunities. These can be either taking part in a competitive sport or just taking part for fun. We have lots of clubs such as netball, football. You can just do fitness in the fitness suite, and these enrichment opportunities, particularly competitive, the teams play in the Sheffield Leagues against all the other schools across the city.
We've just managed to hear from our staff, but what's really important is you get to hear from my students, and so there's a video to do that for you.
Studying sport at the UTC is different because they have great access to different facilities, and the UTC has great sponsors like the SIB. There's also an Astro pitch behind you, which is good use for sport.
Doing lessons and you do your coursework, you get several chances to improve your work, whereas at other schools they might not, so they might give you the one chance and they might not offer you as much support as they do here.
So in sport at the UTC, there's a lot more facilities and you can do 2 qualifications in sport.
Studying sport at the UTC, I feel like it's a lot different to other schools. I was from Key Stage 4 and I've come to Key Stage 5. I feel like the staff, they've got great expertise. We've got the research centre next door. We've got so many facilities being on the Olympic Legacy Park. I think it's great.
New skills and qualities which you can apply to the practical side of PE on schools and trips.
Studying sport at the UTC is different because of the 2 athletics track that are around the UTC.
A project I've done is teaching a primary school their sports day, which gives me experience with teaching.
And then all about sport and the different components of fitness like cardiovascular endurance, then putting it into sports in the gym.
A project I've done at the UTC was based on an athlete that came to the school last year, and we were raising money for him to go to the Olympics.
Well, a group of us sports students went over to the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, and we learnt about how they do their sports research and what equipment they use to get results from different tests. So, for example, we did a football test where there was a football on the penalty spot and we had to shoot, and then it was a slow motion shot and it measured our time and who can hit the ball quickest and who could get it pretty much in the net quickest.
It puts you on a different path. Like at a normal school you won't get given the opportunities to go where you want. Like they might not offer the same pathways, whereas here they do.
At UTC there's obviously a lot better facilities, there's more time to do sport, and it's just better for careers because you can find out what you want to do.
I want to go to Sheffield Hallam University and study sports coaching.
I'd say to someone who's applying to UTC that is a great opportunity and different to other schools.
To apply to the UTC Olympic Legacy Plot, I'd say do it because when you leave school there's a variety of career options which you can go into from the qualifications you get from school, which is very useful for future life.
If you are thinking about coming to UTC, think about like the facilities that we've got here, and then also to just give it a shot because you don't know if you can develop further in your sport.
It's a smashing experience, and I feel like it's just next level to any other schools you could go to.
So one of the really important points that I've talked about is as a UTC is our employer links. And in sport, we've got several different employers we work with. And so now's really an opportunity to have some background and to hear from one of them.
My name's Craig Malkin and I'm the School Sports Coordinator for the Links School Sports Partnership, which is a partnership in Sheffield that works with a number of schools. There are 4 in Sheffield in total. So we work with about 45 primary schools and 7 secondary schools. There's a number of people like myself, but the Links School Sports Partnership, we basically we work with schools, with primary schools and secondary schools and also special schools, and basically we're all about improving the primary curriculum, so that might be supporting teachers with CPD and also providing opportunities for young people to participate in sport through competition, through leadership, through trying different sports. Basically, we just want children to be as active and as possible and basically engaging in sport and physical activity. So yeah, it's all about school improvement and improvement of physical activity for children. A bit of a two-way process, actually. I mean, we like working with the UTC because lots of the events that we run, we need quite a large workforce. Say, for example, just give one example, where we're doing a fun run, and for that you need lots and lots of marshals. Obviously, you can't rely on school staff because they're looking after their own children, and also it's very difficult to ask for parents to come along, etc., etc. They might be working. So if we can have a body of helpers from the UTC, it's great for us because you know, we can run events and also they're gaining experience. So it might go towards the volunteering or just experience in working in the sort of physical activity sector, sports sector, and just getting to know what happens with schools and what we do. So for us, it's great because UTC always provide excellent students, students that are well motivated and who want to be there as well. Because you sometimes do get students that come along that aren't really the right people, but with obviously UTC sports background, people want to be there because they want to be there, they want to work in that sector. So it's great for us, and also the UTC obviously get to use our sort of expertise in organising events and can actually give sort of real life experiences to their pupils. It certainly does. I mean, it fills the sort of skill sector in as far as bodies, that we need bodies, because obviously you've got to have ratios for you know, for safe running of events, risk assessments, that sort of thing. But we find that UTC students are as good as any teachers, any adults out there. Sometimes better actually. So yeah, absolutely, they have the skill set needed. So obviously you can tell that UTC staff work really hard on that. So yeah, absolutely. With the UTC, I mentioned already, you know, the fun runs, but we also do sports days at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield. So, you know, they'll lead on events, help me get through the day. give me a bit of normality. But a big aspect of what we do is working with SEN and SEND students, and also with disability and disability events such as ice skating, and we've also done pentathlon events. And generally we find that asking UTC students, we do ask them because obviously the skill set that they have, extremely mature, and they can work quite easily with a different range of pupils that we work with. They've also gone into schools to deliver coaching as part of their studies, where they've got to have real life experience. So they've gone in for 6 lessons into a local school, delivered for those 6 lessons. Had an outcome, had some objectives which they've obviously got through. But it's also good for CPD for staff, because often these young pupils the young leaders have got such good ideas that often some of those ideas will then be carried on by the staff themselves, and also it's good for the children to see different faces as well. We do events, obviously going to school to do some coaching, but we can also offer work placement opportunities, whether it's 1 week or 2 weeks. And generally the students will volunteer, will follow myself or other sports coordinators and actually do the sort of day-to-day job that I do, and see how crazy and fantastic it is. But one good thing that we can offer, all these volunteering opportunities, they often can be used, the hours can be used as part of their level 2 sports studies, or if they're doing anything like Duke of Edinburgh. So it's just good real life examples of work, really.
So that was an example of one of the employers we work with. On our previous showcase, which is more generally about the UTC, the AWRC, the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, which has a lot of links with our sports students. There's Professor Hake on there who talks a little bit about that one if you haven't seen it and you're interested. I want to talk a little bit about destinations and about where students go after they come to the UTC. So one of the things I want to say actually is on the student video, we did have some more post-16 students talking. We had an issue with the sound, so unfortunately we couldn't share those with you. But we do have a really strong post-16 sports offer, and lots of our students go on to really fantastic destinations. We have had lots of students who are themselves elite athletes, and we have been very flexible around their training regime and about allowing them that kind of duality of role in terms of pursuing a career within sport, but while also wanting to have that academic backing and those alternative careers available to them. As you can see, we've got a professional ice hockey player and some other careers that are there. If we have the next slide. 75% of our students from the UTC as a whole go on to university, which is a high level. Many of them into those kind of health, physiotherapy, sports science and exercise, human nutrition. Many of them onto Russell Group universities, but equally we're partnered with Sheffield Hallam, so lots of our students move on to Hallam, and we really draw on the expertise that's there, and on my governing body is represented not only by employers and industry, but by those higher education providers. I do my job and my staff do our job so that we can see that students go on to really successful destinations. Last year's year 11s and last year's year 13s had a really rough year with COVID. They didn't get the end of the year they should, but I am really proud to say that all the year 13s went on to the careers and destinations that they wanted to, and were able to secure that. And that's not only due to that, the high quality teaching, but also that rounded offer we get from being a small sixth form provider. We're neither a massive college nor a big sixth form, and we offer a blended model that you don't really find in many places of that technical vocational learning alongside real academic rigour and an academic offer. So I've talked a little bit about where our students go, and I think it's time that you heard from one of the students themselves about their experience. So it's an opportunity to watch another film about one of our alumni.
when I finish university, I'd like to get a job as a sports masseur, so sports massage. So I've always been interested in sport. So that's probably one of the main reasons, and just because of basketball as well. Quite into basketball, so the sport definitely helps there. Biggest achievement was getting the maximum possible grade in the level 3 extended diploma. So I got D star, and that really helped me get into university. I think that was a big achievement. Just doing sports therapy at University of Worcester, and that is 6 hours theory a week and 10 hours practical a week. And then playing basketball 3 times a week as well at university. I don't think so, no. Mainly because the points, like the UCAS points you get from doing the extended diploma, that's what you need to get into university. So I think my course needed 112 UCAS points, and I got 168 from the extended diploma, which really helped. Yeah, I'd 100% recommend doing the level 3 extended diploma course. The sport as well, definitely for me, but I know there's other courses as well. But because of the UCAS points you get from it, that is what most universities look to get. So, and it's because the exam that I struggle sometimes with, being like if it's A levels, it's kind of all just on exams at the end, whereas the sport course, it was exams throughout the 2 years and practical assessments as well.